To make gold, gold miners mine for gold. To make Bitcoin, Bitcoin miners mine for Bitcoin. Alright, it's a little more complicated than that. Let me explain.
Imagine that the blockchain is a long train. This train contains a public record of all Bitcoin transactions, and each time a transaction is made, the details of the transaction are coded and broadcast along with every other transaction to a global network of Bitcoin miners. Each train car contains the same amount of data, all of which has been verified by the network. From there, the following process unfolds. Miners compete to add the next car to the train by bundling up a bunch of transactions into blocks. Blocks of data. Folders, if you will. Miners solve a computational problem called proof of work that assigns the block an identifying code, or a hash. The winning block is distributed a small reward and verified by all the other miners in the network. Then that data packet is added to the blockchain. And then a new car is added to the growing train trail. Only one car can be added to the train at any given time, and each one takes about 10 minutes on average to verify and attach to the previous block of data that came before it. By solving the equation first and adding the next block to the chain, a miner is rewarded with a set amount of Bitcoin. When first Bitcoin mining started, the reward was 50 Bitcoin. But as dictated by the coin's creator, the reward is cut in half every time 210,000 new blocks are added to the chain. Roughly, this has been about every 4 years. So, as of March 2021, miners are receiving 6.25 Bitcoin for every new block they mine. In dollar equivalents, again, in mid-March, this is about 300K based on the US current market value. Miners also get to keep the transaction fee from the trades in that block, which are usually about $20 per transaction. Keep in mind, this is all trading, changing and fluctuating with Bitcoin and the US dollar's volatility. Today, it is estimated that there are more than 1 million Bitcoin miners in operation around the world, and they're all competing to add the next block to the chain. The final Bitcoin will be mined in 2140, and every 4 years, the mining rewards will be halved. So while there's 6.25 this year, in 3 years from now, they will be 3.125. 4 years later, half that, and 4 years after that, half, and half, and half. Right now, there's a lot of discussion about the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining because its energy-intensive nature. I mean, there's millions of computers around the world being running at full bore 24/7, competing to add the next block. Good arguments are made on all sides of the debate, and I'm not going to go into the details here, but I encourage you to learn more about this and the climate impacts of blockchain technology if that's important to you. Now, it's a hard analogy to make because how often do we measure the impact of a monetary system? What's the environmental impact of gold mining? What's the environmental impact of a centralized fiat currency? Wherever folks fall on either side of the debate, two things are true. Miners are plugging into renewable energy sources to get better deals and be more sustainable in their Bitcoin mining practices and energy consumption in general, and the hardware that these mining rigs require is becoming more and more energy efficient.